Hello everybody and welcome to today's video, which is the mid-year book tag. I've been seeing lots of people do this video recently, so I thought it was about time that I did my own. So basically what we're doing today is going through the books that I read in the first 6 months of the year. I still can't believe that it's already been 6 months of the year. I feel like it's gone really quickly. And I did manage to read 21 books for the first half of the year, which is 20 less than I did this time last year. I read 41 books last year in the first 6 months, so I feel like I'm behind, but I'm not really. Like, I am. I did just look at my Goodreads reading goal and it does say I'm 2 books behind schedule. Not great. So I do have some catching up to do there because my reading goal was 50. Although that's a question for later in the book tag. Let me start with question number 1. And the first question is, what is the best book that you've read so far in 2024? And I've only given 2 books 5 stars so far this year, but out of those 2, my favourite was Indigo Ridge by Devney Perry. I loved it. I loved it. And I'm really excited to continue this series. I believe it's like a 6-book series, so there is lots for me to catch up on because this is the first. But it's a romance book set in a small town. I've been getting into small town romance recently, and this was like the start of the small town romance thing for me. So I really enjoyed this, and it's also got like a mystery element as well, and I believe the rest of these books in the series also has a mystery element, which I really like because obviously I love romance books, but when it has an extra element in there of another genre, so like mystery, I am intrigued, I'm more interested, which is to say a lot because I'm always interested in a romance book, but it's just had something special. I really liked it. So I'm really looking forward to reading the rest of this series, especially Juniper Hill, which is the second book. And I've heard lots of people say this actually, that you're either like an Indigo Ridge or a Juniper Hill girly. Like out of the whole series, either one will be your favourite. So I'm excited to see if I would like that one any more than this one. It's just so good. 5 stars easily. The next question is the best sequel you've read so far in 2024. Now, I haven't actually continued many series. I have started a few, which is unfortunate because I do have a lot of series that I am in the middle of at the moment. But as for sequels, I believe I've only read 2 sequels. And out of the 2, my favourite was King of Greed, which is the 3rd book in the Kings of Sin series. This is an interconnected standalone series of romance novels, right? So this one is following our characters Dominic and Alessandra, who had been married for 10 years but were having some issues. So we got all that, and they're billionaires. So I don't know, it was really good. It's not my favourite in the series. I only have read 3 and it is going to be a 7-book series. There are 4 out at the moment, but this is my second favourite out of the 3 that I've read. And so because I did only read 2 sequels, this one was my favourite. The other sequel that I did read was The Good, the Bad and the Aunties, and I can't even remember what I rated this because I looked on Storygraph, because I do use both Storygraph and Goodreads, and it didn't say what I rated it, so I'll have to check on Goodreads. I gave it a 3 stars, yeah, and this was a 3.5, so I was right in thinking that I did like that better. But I still enjoyed The Good, the Bad and the Aunties, but I just didn't love it as much as the rest of the books in that series, so I couldn't say it was a favourite sequel, but it was a sequel that I did read this year, which wasn't the question though. My favourite sequel? King of Greed. The next question is a new release that I haven't read yet but want to, and really I could just go back to that video that I filmed at the end of last year of books that I'm excited for in 2024. Most of those haven't read yet, so any of those will do, but I do have here with me King of Sloth because of course this came out this year, haven't read it yet. This is the 4th book in the Kings of Sin series, so it comes after King of Greed. I'm excited to read it. Don't know why it's taken me so long, probably just because I haven't been reading as much, so I haven't had the time to get to it, but I really want to. But this is a little thicker than the other ones. It's 450 pages. I don't know how much this one was, but it was significantly less. This one was 321. So we've got like a decent amount more, which might be a bad thing. Like, I'm excited to read about these characters specifically because Sloane, we would have seen her in this one, but she was also in the previous two, but not a lot. But this one she had a bit more, what do you call it? Not screen time, because it's not a TV show. Page time? That doesn't make sense, does it? Maybe it does, I don't know. But like, she was mentioned a bit more in that one. So I'm excited to see more about her in this. Yeah. That's it. And then I also had another one that I was excited for. Oh yes, Not in Love by Ali Hazelwood. I have heard such mixed opinions about this book and it makes me nervous, but I love Ali Hazelwood, so I really want to give it a go. Also Bride. I did get an early copy of that, but I haven't read it yet. I do want to read that, but Not in Love specifically because I love the sciencey settings of Ali Hazelwood's books, and I've heard people say that they're worried that she's just churning them out too quickly and they're not like good anymore. So I'm concerned because I love Ali Hazelwood, but I'm also intrigued, like what happened in this that was so bad? I don't know. I want to find out though. Next is most anticipated release for the second half of the year. I don't actually know. I haven't really kept track, but oh yes, I can't remember what it's called, but let me look on Goodreads because I did read what's it called? Done and Dusted by Lila Sage, and it was so good. I still haven't read Swift and Saddled, but the third book in that series, which is called The Rebel Blue Ranch, that's what the series is called. The third book is coming out in November. It's called Lost and Lassoed. I'm excited for it because it is Teddy, who is, what was her name? Emmy from Done and Dusted. Teddy is her best friend, and then also the love interest for Teddy is Emmy's older brother Gus. I'm excited. I'm so excited, and I love the covers too. I was going to show you on my phone, but you can see here, like, look how cute that is. Love it. I'm so excited. That's probably one of my most anticipated. I still need to read Swift and Saddled. I haven't got it, so I haven't read it, but I will have to get to that soon because I'm so excited for the third one. But as for third ones, I'm also excited for Daydream. I don't actually know when this comes out. I assume it's later in the year. It's going to be the second half of the year because it's not out yet anyway. But this is the third book in the, what is it called? Maple Hills? Is that what it's called? It's the university. They're all like people in the hockey team. You know, Icebreaker. This is the third one. I'm so excited. Again, haven't read the second. So I don't know, but it's Henry, and I loved Henry in Icebreaker. So Henry in Daydream, main character. So I'm looking forward to it. Still need to read Wildfire. I'm really excited for that too, but that came out last year, or the year before. Last year? Yeah, last year. Okay, but new releases, I'm excited for them. The next question is the biggest surprise, and for me, it was Love Unwritten. This is the second book in the Lakefront Billionaires series by Lauren Asher, and I was surprised just based off the fact that I'd only read one Lauren Asher book before, which was Throttled in the Dirty Air series. That's a Formula One sports romance. I didn't love that. And I don't know, I think I do know actually. It's probably because I listened to it on audiobook and I just didn't like the sound of the narrators' voices. I think that was it. So I need to go back and read more Lauren Asher books because I was just like, I don't like it. But I think it was just their voices, which is so sad for me to say, because I'm sure I probably would have enjoyed that book if I read it on my own, but I don't know, like I really need to gel with a narrator to be able to enjoy the audiobook, and I just didn't for that one. But this pleasantly surprised, and I realised I do actually like Lauren Asher. I haven't read Love Redesigned, which is the first book in this series. Probably should have read that. I didn't. Can't find it in any of the shops though, so I don't know when I'll get to that, but this, it was so good and I was so surprised, and it's such a thick book too, so I was so scared to read it in the beginning because I was like, this is going to take me forever to read. It's so chunky, I probably won't even like it, and I loved it. I can't remember what I rated it. I think maybe a 4.5. Not too sure. I will have to check on that. But it was just so good. I think I talked about this in my June wrap up. I was just so happy with it. I really need to go back and read Love Redesigned. I just found my rating. I gave it a 4 stars, but yeah. Very surprising, very good. Really enjoyed it. And the next question is favorite new author, and this can be new to me or a debut author, and I have to go with a new to me author because Devney Perry. Like, obviously, I love this the most, and this was the first book I've read from her. Loved it. Loved it. So good. I will be reading everything by her I can get my hands on. I'm very excited to continue the rest of this series and then maybe even try some of her other series because she does have quite a few. Also, I believe she publishes under another name as well. Willa Nash, maybe? Willa Nash? Yeah. So there you go. Got multiple books to read by her and even under another name. So the next question is newest fictional crush, and I don't actually think I have one at the moment. I don't know, like, I can't really think of one. I feel like it's just really whatever book I'm reading at the time. Obviously, if I'm reading a romance book, I want to like the main characters, so then I do. But then I start a next one and I forget about them. So, I don't know. Next question is a book that made me cry, and I did actually cry in Indigo Ridge. There's like the mystery bit at the end, it gets like quite intense and a few tears were shed because I was worried, but that one, but that's not my answer to this question. My answer to this question is A Good Girl's Guide to Murder. This was my only other 5-star read of the year. Really enjoyed this one. This was like one of the first books I read this year. Was it the first book? Maybe it was the first book that I read this year. Yeah, it was. The very first book, and I shed some tears. Because if you know this book, there was some uncalled for things, like the death of an animal that did not need to happen. Oh, anyway. So yeah, oh, it was just sad. But this was actually like quite a good book. I really enjoyed the mixed media bits to it. As you can see, you got some like diagrams. We had maps earlier on, transcript of phone calls and stuff like that. So I really liked that bit of the book, but I did not love the bit that made me cry. Next is a book that made me happy. And I could probably answer this question by saying any of the romance books that I've read this year, because they always are like, oh yay, happy fun. But my favourite was probably Love on the Brain, because as you know, I love Ali Hazelwood and I just like find her writing so fun, so it made me happy to read it. I was like, yes, let me pick up that book again because I want to be happy, and that's what this did. This one is set in NASA and it was released a couple years ago now, but I never actually got to it, so I read it this year, really enjoyed it. What can I say? Made me happy. Next is the most beautiful book that you've bought so far this year. I would have to say my special editions of Six of Crows. Now I don't actually have them here with me right now, they're on my bookshelf and I didn't get them off because they're in their special case and I didn't want to take them out of the case because I'm scared that I will ruin them. But I do have a separate video all about unboxing these books, so check that out. I'll link the thing in the corner or also in the description box, so check that video out if you haven't seen it already, because those are probably like the most fantastic editions of any books that I've ever seen in my life. I love them. It costs an arm and a leg though, and I wasn't happy about that, especially because I think the shipping ended up being more than the actual books, which was terrible, but I did it anyway because I love Six of Crows. But oh, it was just, I'm so happy that I have those editions. It's like my first real special edition purchase that I've bought of a book, and it's my favourite book, so I did buy them and I love them. Next question is, what books do you need to read by the end of the year? Quite a few, but probably Iron Flame. I know Christy, if you haven't watched her video of her mid-year book tag, I'll link it down below as well. She also hasn't read Iron Flame. I haven't read Iron Flame. I think people who haven't read Iron Flame yet were all probably just scared of the size of it and because of the mixed opinions. I am very worried. Like, so many people did not like this and I really liked Fourth Wing. And I know there's lots of mixed opinions on that as well, so if I liked that, maybe I'll like this. But I gave Fourth Wing a 5 stars, so I'm just kind of worried that, like, what if I don't like this as much? And I really enjoyed Fourth Wing, and sure, the ending was predictable, but I enjoyed it. So I was like, probably will enjoy this, but I'm just so scared. And it is so thick. It's like over 600 pages. Like, I don't know if I have the time at the moment. And I did do my reading vlog on Fourth Wing, and I enjoyed that so much. I like sharing my thoughts on that book with you all, so I feel like I need to do another reading vlog for Iron Flame just so I can document my thoughts once again. But I don't have the time. I feel like I'll have to wait until the end of the year, like the very end of the year, once I'm done uni for the year, so that I have time to actually dedicate to this book, because I want to annotate it like I did the first one, and I just haven't had the time yet. So yeah, that's a book that I want to read. But there's also so many others that I want to read as well. Like, I could probably just answer my TBR, because it is endlessly growing, and I feel terrible for it because I've said so many times that I'm not going to buy any new books, or I'm not going to like borrow books from the library as much, because I need to read the books that are on my shelf, because there are so many, over 100, and it's really quite terrible. I mean, I like having a good selection so I can choose what books I want to read, but it's kind of stressing me out, because then I feel like I can't buy new books because I've got so many that I have to read. And it's not like I don't want to read them, because obviously that's why I have them in the first place. I just get so stressed and I never know what to pick. Maybe I shouldn't have that many choices. Maybe that's what's... I don't know. I don't know. Next question is, what books do I want to reread this year? And I don't often do rereads just because my TBR is so big, but I don't even know. I would want to read Six of Crows again, because I do love it so much. And my friend, a couple years ago even, which I feel terrible for because I haven't read it yet, and she annotated it for me. It was her first time reading it, and she knows I love that book so much. So I have an annotated copy, and I'm really excited to read it, but I just haven't got to a reread of it yet. And I have reread it before, so it will be my third or fourth time. I can't remember if I've read it 2 or 3 times, but I will be reading it again if I was to reread it. So I thought, like, maybe I don't need to reread that specific book, but I want to because it's been annotated. I probably won't get to do a reread this year just because I do have so many other books that I want to read as well. But if I had to pick a book to reread, Six of Crows. I just love it so much. Next question is favourite author so far this year, and if that is like any author of the year, I mean, Ali Hazelwood I always love, and then again Devney Perry, because new favourite, hello. I feel like I haven't really disliked any of the books that I read this year. Like, there are some that weren't amazing, but I wouldn't say they're terrible, so I don't know if I have like an absolute favourite author, because they're all kind of good, so I don't know. Next question is a book you enjoyed with mixed reviews. Again, I don't know. I don't know. A book that I enjoyed with mixed reviews. Not many. Not many. Maybe the only thing I can think of is King of Greed. Oh, I just dropped Indigo Ridge. Oh no. That's terrible. It's okay though. Oh, that was scary. The only thing I can think of mixed reviews is King of Greed. I think maybe on Instagram, or maybe on YouTube, I can't remember what it was, but someone messaged me or commented something they didn't like King of Greed, and they stopped reading halfway through. That's the only thing I can think of where I heard someone say like they didn't like a book. But obviously I enjoyed this because it was my favourite sequel of the year. But yeah, I think that's the only one I can think of where I'd actually heard someone say that they didn't like the book. If you are that person though, I can't remember what it was on. Maybe Instagram? If you do happen to be watching this video right now and you said that you didn't like King of Greed and you stopped after like 100 or so pages, I would say continue. I mean, I enjoyed it. I don't know. I liked it. I liked it better than King of Pride, so if you liked King of Pride, I would also read this because I thought it was better. I don't know. What do I know? I don't know. Oh, I realised I've just skipped a question. I'll have to go back one. The next question is books you've been putting off. And I do have 3 options for this. The first one, Priory of the Orange Tree, because look how big it is. I've just been sat in front of the camera for like the last 10 minutes talking about the books. I wasn't recording, so now we have to go back to Priory of the Orange Tree. Not that it's going back for you because you didn't know I was already like 2 questions ahead. Oh, anyway, what was I even saying? Priory of the Orange Tree. I've been putting this off because look at the size of it. I'm scared. It's also a high fantasy book, and that in itself is kind of scary for me because I really do have to pay attention because it's a completely new magic system, and dragons, I feel like anything with dragons in it is actually kind of complicated, so I will have to put the thinking cap on and actually pay attention to what I'm reading. So I've just been putting that off, and yeah, it's just so thick. I think it's like over 800 pages or something. Possibly, yep. Also, another thing, I did go to the Samantha Shannon signing when she was here in Sydney. I don't remember when that was though. It could have been this year, could have been last year. I actually don't remember when it was, but I have my book signed. I also have the prequel to this book, which is called A Day of Fallen Night. I have that signed as well, and that is just equally as thick, so I'm scared for that as well. And that is the prequel. Did I just say that? I believe I did. I don't know. But people do read that one first because it is the prequel, but this one came out first, so I think I should read this one first and then go back to that one, because I'm worried that like all the world building is going to be done in this one and not so much in that one because it came out after. I don't know. So I've just been scared because it's so thick and I don't want to commit to it. And next is a really popular book from a really popular series. We've got A Court of Thorns and Roses. I know it's kind of crazy that I haven't read this book yet, but I've just been scared. Again, like so many people love this. I've just been scared to commit, which is crazy because I feel like I will also really like it. It's a fantasy series. That's really all I know. But the font is so small. So kind of worried about that. Not that you can really tell on camera, but it's really quite small. And the rest of the books in this series, besides from A Court of Frost and Starlight, I think that's what it's called. That's like a novella one, I think. So that doesn't count what I'm saying. But like the rest of them are really quite thick. So it's quite a big commitment. Especially A Court of Silver Flames. Like that is the biggest in the series, I think. And I am just worried that it'll take forever to read, so I just haven't started it yet. And then equally, in that same realm of things, we have Throne of Glass. This is another series by that same author that so many people love, but it's such a large series once again. I think there's like 6 or 7 books. I don't know. It's really big, and I've just been scared to start it. Also, I don't have the full series on my shelf. I do have maybe 4 or 5, but they're out of order. I have been collecting these old covers, so I can only get them secondhand. Like I was getting them secondhand, but now I can only get them secondhand because the books do have new covers now, and I'm not going to buy the rest of the books that I don't have in the new covers because then they won't match. So I do just have to keep my eyes out. Eyes out? That's not what the saying is. Eyes peeled. Keep an eye out. Not my eyes, not both, just one eye out for the rest of the books in these covers because I do want to get them all the same. So that's basically why I haven't started this series yet, because I don't have them, and I don't have Assassin's Blade either, and I don't know if I do want to read that first because it is a prequel, but people also read it third, so I could start it with this. I just don't know what the right thing to do is. I probably just will do like publication order, because when in doubt I feel like that it's the way to go, because that is how lots of people would have had to read it if they were reading it from the beginning. But moving on to the next question, we have series that you want to finish before the end of the year. And now I do have a lot because I did film a video, I think it was a couple months ago, about all the book series that I'm in the middle of. And there's a lot in that video, so I could really pick anything from that. But my number one is A Good Girl's Guide to Murder. I do have only 2 more books left in this series because it is a trilogy, and I feel like they'll be quick to read just because I feel like mysteries, if it's fast paced, you will want to keep reading it. So this one, and then I also have the rest of the Dangerous Damsels series. I loved the first one. I think I read it like middle of last year, so it has taken me so long to get to the rest. But we do have the second one, which is The League of Gentlewomen Witches and The Secret Service of Tea and Treason. They're so fun. It's like a historical fiction fantasy series. It's super fun. The first one had pirates with flying houses. The second one has witches, obviously. And then the third one has assassins, possibly, spies. But magic is like sprinkled into all of them somehow. So it's really good. Really loved the first one. As I said, it's kind of like also Bridgerton vibes, because it's a Regency era type thing. I don't know if that's the setting, but I think so. Also, the covers are just so cute. Look at that. Love it. But yeah, this is like one of the main series also that I really want to finish, because I just had such a great time reading that first one that I know I'm going to love the other two as well. Next is 5-star predictions for the rest of the year. I have two here with me now. I mean, there's lots of books that I'm hoping will be a 5 stars because I like the sound of them or because I've heard good things from other people. But first, we have Happy Place by Emily Henry. I have loved every single Emily Henry book that I've read before, and I am not really shocked. I was going to say I'm shocked that I haven't got to this yet because I was so excited for it, but I'm not shocked because I was waiting for it to go to the smaller form. Why am I holding up this book? Now you've got a sneak peek of what the next book was, but anyway, what I meant to do is this, because see the difference in size? When Happy Place first came out in Australia, it was the big size, and the rest of my Emily Henry books are in the smaller format, so I did have to wait a year for it to be published in the smaller format so it could match the rest of my books. But I am excited to read it. Same story with Funny Story. I don't have that yet, and I do really want to read that as well, but I haven't because I'm waiting for it to go in the smaller format, so I will have to wait another year. I don't know, but I'm hoping this will be a 5 stars. I have heard great things about this one. Next book, you already saw it, Check and Mate. This is an Ellie Hazelwood book, obviously. It's about chess, as you can see from the pictures and the title, but this is a YA book. This is her first YA book. So I'm excited to see what this is like. I've heard great things, so I'm really looking forward to it. I believe it will be a 5 stars because I think all or most Ali Hazelwood books that I've read have been a 5 stars for me. I think we're on the last question. Do you think you'll reach your reading goal, and are you going to change it? As for right now, I'm kind of worried because I am 2 books behind schedule for my 50 books. Who knows? Honestly, I don't want to change it because that would be cheating. And I thought at the beginning of the year, I will pick a number that I think is manageable so that I don't disappoint myself. And last year I read 81 books, I think it was. So I thought 50 will be like a decent amount, but I will also be able to read it because I read so many last year. But I just overestimated my abilities, I think. I don't know if I am going to be able to read 50 books. I mean, I hope so, but if not, that's okay as well, but I'm not changing the goal. If I don't reach the goal, I will be upset, but I'm not going to change it anyway, so I don't know, could be sad, we'll see. But that is the end of this video from me. I would love to know your answers to some of these questions, so if you had a favourite question that you would like to answer in the comments, let me know about the books. I want to know what you're reading. I want to know how many books you read also. Maybe it was more than me, maybe it was less. I don't know. Let me know in the comments. But thanks for watching this video. If you did enjoy it, don't forget to give it a thumbs up and subscribe down below because I do post new videos every single week, so you don't want to miss any new ones. But that is it for today. Thanks again for watching, and I will see you next week. Goodbye. I have to get back to reading, so I'm not behind. 2 books behind schedule. I actually can't believe it. I can. But I don't want to. I'm actually going to go now and read some books because I need to.